Hey, what's up guys? Mr. Myasis here, and I'm going to go over with you one proportion confidence intervals using the TI-Nspire. So here's my problem here. An ice cream shop owner has developed a new flavor of ice cream. He calls it Super Yummy Tummy Blaster. I don't know what's in that. Sounds good, but it might hurt my tummy. He would like to see if there's enough interest in his new flavor on a busy weekend. He randomly selects 50 customers to try his new flavor and asks whether or not they would purchase it if it was offered in a store. Of those customers that tried his flavor, 68% would buy it if it was offered. Good thing the store owner knows stats, of course. He's going to go and estimate the true proportion of customers that would buy Super Yummy Tummy Blaster using a 90% confidence interval. So, the first thing we always do when we are doing confidence intervals is we state our conditions for inference. So we're going to go ahead and state our conditions for inference. I'm going to use text here. All right, so our conditions. Our first condition is that we know that the owner randomly selected the 50 customers. All right, we want to make sure we put this this context in here, right? Context, context, context. Everybody, statistics is about context. So, number one condition is that a randomly selected group. The second condition is that 50 customers. We're going to go ahead and assume 50 customers is less than 10% of all customers at his ice cream shop. You can also say that each customer is independent, right? Or that we have independent sampling. And finally, number 3 is NP hat and QP hat. So we want to make sure that those are bigger than 10. Okay. So NP hat. See if this works here. NP hat is going to be 50. Guys, my pen's not working here, so I'm going to have to use the mouse. 50 times 0.68. Let my pen charge up a little bit while we do that. All right. So what does that end up equaling? That ends up being 68 times. Oops. 0.68 times 50, 34. And NQ hat, all right, forgive my handwriting, guys, it's hard to write. Oh, I have to say this is greater than or equal to 10 with a mouse. All right, so 50 times 0.32 is going to give me 16. Did I do that right? Yeah. And that is also greater than or equal to 10. Alright, so then in this case now what I wanted to show you on this video was how do we do this in a graphing calculator. So I'm not going to take too much time. We all know that the formula that you're going to normally use is P hat plus or minus Z star, right? Z star times the square root of P hat Q hat. Oh man, that's a bad Q. Q hat over N. Now this formula is what we would use if we were doing this by hand, but I'm going to just show you how to do this in the calculator. All right, we need to know what P hat is. All right, in this case P hat is 0.68. That's the percentage of people in our sample that that liked his flavor. And we also need to know what N is. And N was 50. We might actually need to know the number of successes, which is 34. So let's go ahead and go to our TI-Nspire. And I'm going to add a calculator menu. And I'm going to go to Menu, then to Statistics, then to confidence intervals. Look at that, confidence intervals. And we got all these types of confidence intervals that we can use. I'm going to go ahead and use a 1 prop z interval. So that's what we use for a 1 proportion z interval. You don't use z interval, you use 1 proportion z interval. All right, so we're going to use that one. So we're going to go and click on that. And we actually need the number of successes. So if you remember in class, I told you that those, when you do NP hat and QP hat, I'm sorry, NP hat and Q hat, you need to make sure that those are whole numbers. So I believe we got 34 for that, so we'll put 34 in there. And then we're going to put N, so N is 50. It automatically calculates P hat. And then you have your confidence level. Well, I think I wanted a 90% confidence using a 90% confidence interval. So I'm going to go ahead and say 90. So I'm going to go 0.9. It's got to be a decimal. And hit enter. Hit enter OK. And there we go. We've got our answer here. It gives me my margin of error is 0.1085, 10.85%. My P hat was 68%, which I did have. And it has my C lower, which is my lower bound of my confidence interval, and then my upper bound for my confidence interval. So I have 57.1 and 78.9. Okay, so I'm going to go back over here, and I had 57.1. All right, so I have 0.571, and I have I believe it was 789. 789. That's why 6 was afraid of 7, because 789. Okay, classic joke. All right, so now we're going to go and write this in context. All right, so we're going to write interpret. We always want to interpret our confidence interval. So we're going to say we are 90% confident. Oops. That the true proportion of customers who would buy Super Yummy Tummy Blaster is between 57.1% and 78.9%. All right, and that's it, guys. That's all there is to finding the confidence interval using the TI-Nspire. All right, thanks for joining me. We'll talk to you soon.